Okay, we are recording. This is Wrong Speed Record Chat number 21. And we have Mr. Stuart Braithwaite from the Scottish rock band Mogwai. How you doing?
Very good, very good. How are you?
Good, cheers. Where are you?
I'm at home in my room that is theoretically a studio, but is more just a sort of pile of skateboards, records, and keyboards and pedals. It's kind of like a, yeah, like it's kind of like that film, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, but he doesn't give away all his shit. He just keeps his.
What I'm liking, I like your bookshelf. I don't know if it's my bookshelf, but it's the amount of bookshelves we've seen in the background over the last year on it's the lack of organization I'm appreciating.
Yeah, we've lived here for about almost 6 years and really we've got this plan to like get all these fancy shit, because we've so many books, fancy shelves put up and have it all really kind of library style. And yeah, we haven't done it.
That's pretty standard. That's the same story here. Most definitely.
Yeah, any time I've had the spare money that I could have done that with, we went on holiday.
Oh, I should have introduced you. I should have asked you whether you wanted to be introduced as a chart-topping Mogwai, right?
Oh, you've done it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So the As the Love Continues album that came out like a couple of months back now, right? When was it?
Yeah.
Like that got some proper like I don't know, it seemed to get proper like social media push, didn't it? Everyone was so behind the idea of that getting to #1. It was insanely, it was so exciting.
It was exciting. It was exciting. And it's weird because I kind of like, when it was #1 at first, I was like, right, to get this to stay at #1, we're going to have to just like kind of ask people to just go and buy it. And I thought people would be really annoyed. And everyone was really into it. They were like, yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. I do think you can probably only do that once.
Well, I'm not going to ask you where it was in week 2, but
you know what? It actually was still in the top 30. I think it ended up being like 25 or something like that, which is pretty miraculous because we sold every record. We literally sold every single vinyl copy that we'd made.
Yeah,
that week.
It was as a bystander, let me tell you, it was one of the high points of the last couple of months watching.
Thanks very much.
Happening.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Very weird, but yeah, a lot of fun.
My like if any, like normally a band will release an album and on day sort of 2, like about Tuesday or Wednesday, you'll get some form of midweek chart report.
Yeah,
you'll be like, oh yeah, no, you're good. You're like in the top 30 or whatever. But by the end of the week, your fan base is like tailed off, and take that, so still buying their best ofs or whatever else.
Yeah,
and Ed Sheeran and stuff, and the same crap just keeps.
Yeah, and I think probably giving away too much information here, but I think the fact that HMV isn't open.
Right, yeah.
Stop that happening to that extent. Hold on a second. Hello. So yeah, that what you were talking about, like the big chart stuff, kind of just like a juggernaut keeping going. I think all like the big shops being closed stopped that being as big a factor. Yeah, because we were really
anyhow, it was awesome, but I also think this last year, the sort of people that like bands like yourself and Arab Strap as well, who also did well with their chart thing, like a few weeks later, are at home and loving buying mail order records.
Yeah. I think the independent record shops have probably so much goodwill in the bank. Like people, especially since things like Record Store Day, not so much that as an event, but the story around that, of people really realizing that these are kind of community hubs for music fans, and people have been really keen to support them. And yeah, you're right. And it's a weird one with the pandemic too. I'm sure you're the same, that like 2/3 of your friends have never been so broke, but then there's a random third that have got more money than normal because their jobs continued. They can't go on holiday. Maybe they've got a job that is weirdly benefiting. Like I know I've got like friends that sell skateboards and BMXs, and they're doing amazingly well. I think that some of them, they feel almost guilty about it, you know? So it's kind of, it's a weird time, but it's been nice to see the way people have rallied around record shops. And we obviously, I think really benefited that with our record release. And yeah, it's been nice, really nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Plus, you put it out on your own label, right? So it came out on Rock Action.
Yeah, yes.
And you had everything in place not to crumble under the weight of selling enough for that. Like you were obviously organized to sort of think, okay, yeah, no, this is going to sell. I don't know how many sells, but you're like, okay, we need to press up.
I mean, we didn't press enough, but if we had any idea that this was going to happen, we'd have pressed more. But we just pressed enough to last that week. By the Thursday, I suppose, which is the end of the week now, you had to look really hard to find one, and it got to the point where we sold them all, which is amazing. And the amount we pressed would have been to last months, definitely not to last a week. So no, it's weird, and I'm not as involved as I maybe have been in the past. We've got a manager just now, so I did it for a long time, and I guess it's just the natural position of someone in a band. If you don't hear it, if you're not hearing things, you presume that it's bad.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, like, so all of this came as a proper surprise to me. Like, yeah, it was crazy, and yeah, really nice.
Yeah. So so the label's called Rock Action, and can I just confirm, are you called Rock Action because of Scott Ashton?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nickname, right?
Yeah, it was his nickname, and yeah, I've been a big Stooges fan since I was a kid, and it just seemed a cool. It seemed to me to be the coolest nickname.
Yeah.
Ever. And yeah, we stole it.
Yeah. Like, do you think it's cool because it was the early 70s? You can't be called that now. You can't.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think that like there's something of the kind of purity of that time. Like everything must have still been pretty new, and
yeah,
like they were from Michigan. It's like a really unpretentious place. Like you can imagine the conversation where he made up the nickname. You know, it must have been.
Yes.
Yeah, it would have been amazing. Yeah, it wouldn't fly now. No, it definitely wouldn't fly.
And so the one record I got a pile of your records here, but I'm really into this one.
Oh yeah.
So talking of covering bands or being into bands from, in this case, the very early 70s.
Yeah.
The Mogwai Magoo split where you both cover Black Sabbath songs, and it's on Fierce Panda.
Yeah,
that's cool. I dug this out of the garage and then gave it a blast earlier, and I realised it's pressed on 33 RPM rather than 45.
Is it?
Yeah, weirdly.
Yeah. The one thing I remember about that is that we missed the entire section of the song out because it was too hard.
But there's a lot of talk cut in. Like it's obviously a band chat edited in. Is it just from rehearsals or?
It was our friend Neil Smith, who still a really good friend of mine. In fact, he was the best man at my wedding. Who took a lot of the photos on our early records, and it's him just talk. I think we might have been stoned, and he's just talking absolute shit. And I think we were being. It was kind of like what's the method acting, because the song's about being stoned. So I think we were all wasted.
It's Sweet Leaf you're covering, so you have to do
yeah.
and everything. yeah. So on the Rock Action label, I'm just going to show it because I've got them right here. You've released these two absolute seminal classic records.
yeah. I think that might have been. I think the Chart Pin may have been the first album we released. Yeah.
Right.
I think before that it had just been Sevens.
Right. Yeah. This is 2002.
Yeah.
I do have the other ones, but I've only got two hands. What did you, when Tim Cedar sent you the artwork, what were you thinking?
I think I mean, to be honest, I think we were just like, oh, that's cool. I think now I would be like, mate. although maybe with the I Am Coming, we would have been so pleased that it was only one color because it would have been cheap.
Yeah.
Oh no! It's Chart Pimp. That's black and white. Yeah, there's color on I Am Come. Yeah. Is it black and white on both sides?
Yeah.
You'll know from putting out records that that's what you want.
yeah. But we really went all out on the coloring on the felt tip there. So yeah. And the one other thing I wanted to mention, because it's something that it's a miracle that I've still got. You know what? I want to.
Yeah.
You've just seen the box. That's cool.
Yeah, I've got mine. I've got mine too. This is no joke. This might be my favorite thing I own.
Yeah. So there you go.
Have you used yours? Have you ever taken it out?
Yeah. It's been used.
Mine's still in the.
It's been used to hell. Look at the state of that.
Amazing. That actually makes it cooler. But yeah, no, this is. I don't even know how this happened. Someone there must have just been a big fan, because I don't think we have anything to do with them anymore. I think we asked them for some pedals and they ignored us a few years ago. So
right, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it came because of the Rock Action album, right?
Yes, it was roundabout. You've lost a bloody knob as well.
I know, it's in pieces. So it came because of this album, right?
Yeah.
Because at the time, I worked at Vital, the distributor.
Oh yeah.
And I was telesales at the distributor that distributed this record, and they said whoever sells the most copies of this wins one of these.
Oh really?
Yeah. So,
that's amazing. Well, thank you very much for shifting some Rock Actions.
Oh, I forced some people to take that record. Every single person. Yeah. I think it's not. You don't want a 5-and-1 deal. You definitely want a 10-and-2 on that sort of thing. Yeah. So consequently, it's on like the first sort of 10 years worth of Colossus records. This is the pedal that I use.
Oh, that's amazing. I feel honored. That's really bad. That's so cool.
It's absolutely fucked, but it still works.
Do you think it sounds different from another Big Muff?
Well, my problem is I play the bass, so really it's a guitar pedal. But I used it anyway because I just liked it. I ended up replacing it and getting a Boss, one of those yellow Boss distortion.
Oh yeah.
Which are kind of made for the job a bit more. But now my son uses this now as well, so
amazing.
So it's still it's. Well, I had to have it in here for this to say thank you very much.
That's amazing. No, that makes me really happy. I'm really happy that's getting used, actually.
Yeah, I wonder how many others are getting used, or whether they're just all being
John, who the other Mogwai guitar player, when we had 2 guitar players, he used his was absolutely annihilated. I don't know if we knew back then that Big Muffs were quite cheap pedals. Like they're relatively, they're not too expensive, are they? Like 50 quid or something.
I don't know how much they are. I don't know.
Yeah, compared to some distortions.
Yeah.
Weirdly, you get distortions now that cost mental amounts of money.
Yeah. Do you know how many you made?
That was a hazy time for me. I'm guessing not a lot, like 100 or something.
Yeah.
I really don't think there was a lot. None were ever sold. They were all like involved with Vital or PS or competitions. I know a few people won them in competitions.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, awesome. Let's tuck into a record or two and see where we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hit me with a record from your favorite record shop, please.
My favorite record shop is kind of my local record shop. It's Monorail in Glasgow, and I actually bought a bunch of stuff from there a couple of weeks ago. But this was the one I was most excited about.
Oh yeah.
Which is this compilation of songs on the jukebox of the old shop Sex, Malcolm McLaren and Vivienne Westwood's clothes shop, which I had on CD years ago. All my CDs are just in fact, I can probably point you at them. They're in like plastic tubs. I don't really listen. Yeah, I don't really listen to CDs anymore. I've no reason not to. I just don't. But so I was really excited about this coming out in vinyl. It's got some of my very favorite songs on it, like "We Sell Soul" by the Spades, which was like a early version of the 13th Floor Elevators with Rocky Erickson. Shake Some Action, Flaming Groovies. I'm 18 by Alice Cooper. Yeah. Really, Liar Liar by the Castaways. Some really random stuff on it, like just Have Love Will Travel by the Sonics, you know, just brilliant stuff. Yeah, it's an amazing compilation. I'd recommend anyone to check it out. I'm sure there's Spotify playlists of it or whatever, but every single song on it's amazing.
It's got The Pill. That song's on there.
Yeah. And that one where the guy does the frog voice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ain't Got No Home by Clarence Frogman Henry.
Yeah.
Which is really, really brilliant. Yeah, really. I'm getting pretty into comps. I've got a few comps in my pile here. I'm getting quite into comps these days. Maybe kind of.
You think there's a place for comps still? I mean, like nowadays with the.
I do, and maybe it's just my attention span's kind of shit. In fact, I'll just pull one up now because I think I just got it because I love it. But do you know about these comps? These
no.
I think it's on a subsidiary of Mississippi Records.
Oh yeah.
Called Cairo, and they're these comps that are soul comps, and this one's called Freedom for the Stallion.
Awesome.
And I don't know a lot about soul music. I'm a kind of fair weather soul fan.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to rock music, but it's just got like pretty known, obvious songs by, and but it's got like a Nina Simone song and Al Green, Sam Cooke, but like loads of people I've never heard of. But every song on it is unbelievable. There's one song on it called Doorsteps of Sorrow by Rudolph Taylor, which is unbelievable. It's one of the best songs I've ever heard. Don't know anything about the guy. Nice. But it's got like loads of like a good big book and stuff. And I think there's maybe 4 of these compilations on Cairo of these soul comps, and they're all amazing.
Yeah.
Got this other one. What's this called? Some label called A Colorful Storm. It's called Still in My Arms, compiled by Bayou and Mupi. And it's got like some kind of like pointillist painting on it, but it's all stuff from this label. Do you remember Toytronic?
No, I don't know that.
Toytronic in the early 2000s. It was kind of like a more kind of like DIY warp. It was like glitchy electronic stuff.
Right.
But the records they were putting out were really small runs, like 1-200. And I found myself listening more and more to that kind of music again. It's like there's a guy called Abfar, how do you say it? Abfar, Hinwell, Gimmick, Num Num. It's all really, really great. It's kind of like continuing like the Warp compilations, the what were those famous Warp compilations?
They did 3, didn't they? Like classics.
Artificial Intelligence.
No, the artificial intelligence. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's that kind of style of music.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And yeah, that's a great one. And I checked out more stuff on that label, and none of it was like that. I think the guys probably just like me, just randomly likes or women, just person, just decided they like that music and made a comp of it, and it's really, really good.
Yeah,
listen to that.
So we love, like when we play in Glasgow, we always go to Monorail.
Yeah,
like it's the last time we played up there, we were in Monorail so long that the promoter rang us to tell us that we've missed our sound check because we were just because it's got everything, and it was a beautiful day, so you could sit outside, although we were sitting inside. The cafe's lovely. Like the record shop is beautifully stocked. And and the people in there are really nice.
Yeah, they're super nice.
Yeah. So I
just noticed the dog. Who's this?
It's Monty.
Hi, Monty.
Yeah, he sits on my lap for all of these.
That's great.
Yeah, and at some point he'll want to be let out, so you'll get to see my ass as I get up to open the door. But yeah, Monorail, we love Monorail, and
yeah, it's so good, so good. Yeah, they've been really supportive of us. They really kind of helped us over the years, and yeah, they did really, really well with the As the Love Continues too, and yeah, they're just good friends, you know. Just kind of Mark that works in there is one of my best pals. I see him all the time, and they all live around here, so I see them a lot. Stephen and Depp, and yeah, they're good folk.
Yeah. Something I was going to ask actually, because you mentioned Stephen there, and I was wondering if you had any connections and links in any way really with like that sort of early to mid 80s Glasgow music with like the Vaselines and the Pastels and all those sort of bands. Whether you think you're part of a lineage or something or connection.
I mean, maybe a lineage, yeah, but I didn't know about those bands too much when I was a kid. Maybe when I was older. I watched a Nirvana set from Reading in 1991 the other day, which I was at as a kid.
Yeah,
and it crossed my mind. I had no idea who Eugene was.
Yeah,
like he comes on and sings with them.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was at the time. I think I actually saw Eugenius or Captain America, they were called, playing with Nirvana later that year.
Yeah,
but at that point, I didn't know who he was.
Captain
America. Yeah. And Eugene's now he's a good friend of mine. He just lives around the corner from me. But no, I didn't really know. And I even like I liked Teenage Fan Club, but I don't think I even really knew they'd all been in other bands. I don't think. I probably had that information available to me. I just wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I think that the Pastels are quite an important Glasgow band because they never left. I think before that, all the bands left to go and live in London. That was kind of thought of as what you had to do to make it.
Yeah,
and maybe that was true back then. It probably was, but the Pastels stayed here, and then Teenage Fan Club stayed here, and now it would probably be seen. Well, you need to have a lot of money to go and move to London these days, anyway, I suppose. But it's not something you hear of anymore. So I think you can probably trace that back to the Pastels in a lot of ways.
Yeah, there was a lot of like around, say, in the early 80s or at some point in the 80s, there was a lot of regional record labels that kind of made that maybe not need to be, from factory up.
Yeah, totally. And there's a great book. I don't know if you've read it. The book about Creation Records. My Magpie Eyes Are Hungry for the Prize.
Oh, no,
by what is the dude's name? He actually died last year. He wrote a great book about John Peel too. David Kavanagh.
All right, okay.
Yeah, David Kavanagh wrote this brilliant book, and it, as well as being about creation, it's also about the sort of history of Scottish indie music, and it kind of talks about postcards and all that stuff. But that's how I learned about that. I learned about it from reading it in a book not that long ago.
So if you went to Reading in 91, was that the first Reading you went to?
Yes, my sister had been the year before. She's 3 years older than me, so her and her pal went when she was 17, I guess. And then the next year she took me, and I was only 15, I think. Right. And yeah, it was great, really, really great.
Yeah, that's the first one I went to, 91.
Yeah, and I just remember that Saturday, just seeing like Babes in Toyland, Nirvana, Silverfish, Dinosaur, Eggy, Sonic Youth. I'd never seen Sonic Youth before. That was the first time I saw them, and they were mind blowing.
That because I came into Sonic Youth with Goo, right? Because I'm that age.
Yeah.
So that was the new record. And
I
sort of stand by that record despite everyone else going on about the earlier records and everything else. I love Goo. So, and when Sonic Youth played that year, I was like 16 or 17. And I just remember it being a white light when they were playing, and this like cloud of like steam coming off the crowd. Yeah, and I just remember it being so exciting watching them.
Yeah, they were brilliant. You know, Goo. I listened to Goo a couple of days ago actually, and it's a weirder record than you remember.
Yeah.
Like at the end of Mo, there's like 4 minutes of noise.
Yeah.
Maybe even 5 minutes. Yeah, and it's weird. Yeah. It's an amazing. Yeah, I think that is probably. Yeah, my sister was in a Daydream Nation, but I think it was Goo that I really, really first got into as well. And like, Cool Thing is just one of the best singles of all time. Just the genius of Chuck D coming in, it's just unbelievable. And the riff is amazing. Yeah, everything about it. And I was super into. I mean, I'm still into skateboarding, and like, there was this skateboarding connection. I think, did Spike Jonze make that video for Cool Thing? I think he did, which he taught. And he'd never made anything like that. He'd only ever filmed people jumping downstairs on skateboards and BMXs. And he bullshitted his way to making that video. And like, so like, it just shows this connection that he ended up going and becoming an Oscar-winning director. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. Regarding the skateboarding thing, I was speaking to someone in a previous episode about that because he's enormously into that world as well. And I had a brief dalliance, whereas I got the videos and I was hopeless, but I was kind of into the vibe of it or whatever. But I've still got some of the videos, and I got a lot of my music knowledge from the skateboard videos.
Yeah, me too.
Stuff? Yeah.
Especially the Santa Cruz?
Yeah.
Was it Wheels of Fire or Streets of Fire? And I can't remember the name of the other one, but I think that was when I first heard like Black Flag, and because I think one of them has all SST bands. So I'd like, because my sister was into indie music, so that's how I heard like Sonic Youth, but she wasn't at Black Flag. I heard all that stuff through skate videos.
Yeah, that was the same. I was part of the Strange Notes Club, which was a Santa Cruz video club or whatever, and they would post them over to England to anyone who was in the club. You'd get a Strange Notes t-shirt, like a Santa Cruz Strange Notes t-shirt, and these videos, and it was all like Peg Boy and Lard and those sort of bands, and it was and it was combined with like Beautiful California Sun.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's cool. And in fact, to be totally honest, it's actually kind of gone full circle now, because the big labels won't really license their music for skate videos anymore. So quite often I'll like find out about tiny little bands now through skateboarding videos, because that's all they have the money to license. So yeah, that's kind of worked the other way. I've got into loads of like completely obscure music again through skateboarding videos, because yeah, it's a creative community. The people in that world, they're not doing it for money. I mean, there's like hardly anyone's making money at skateboarding. Most people are just doing it because they really, really, really love it, you know? So yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that music connection. And we've had some of our songs in skateboard videos, and I'm always excited about it because I'm thinking someone somewhere really weird is going to hear this and Shazam it and check us out, and Otherwise, they wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, that's a little box ticker thing for you as well, I guess, where it's the whole full circle thing. It's like, well, I discovered that, so that's nice to return the favour on that one.
Totally.
Yeah. So, hit me with a record that you think has memories for you.
I went for this, which is the second God Machine album, One Last Laugh in a Place of Dying. And yeah, it was an album we were really, I mean, I still love it, but really, really into when we started the band. All of us, it was one of the few bands that I think me, Dominic, and Martin all were into. And yeah, it's an amazing record. I think these are out of print, actually. I think Robin, the singer's trying to do some kind of reissue thing. But yeah, it's an amazing record, and a really kind of like, I kind of bridge between the two kinds of music I was into back then, kind of new wave type, like the Cure, Bauhaus kind of stuff, and also kind of like noisy rock. Like they were doing shows with like Ligament and I guess Silverfish and all those bands from the early 90s, the sort of Camden noise scene. They're also really influenced by Jane's Addiction, who was a band I was totally into back then too. And so yeah, and just really love it. And the music's very evocative. It's very emotional. Obviously, there's a kind of emotional side to it too, because or an extra emotional side, because the band stopped going because the bass player died before the album was even released. I never got to see them play. Martin saw them, but yeah, yeah, really special band. Did you see them play?
I didn't see them. I did.
No.
Is it Sophia? Is that the band he did after?
Yeah.
I saw them. I find
Tim played drums on that first album.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all connected, isn't it? I find it like crushingly sad.
It's very sad. In fact, I might struggle to listen to that now that I'm getting old and emotional.
I have a real problem with I have a real problem with sad music, and it's a record that I'm either expecting you to mention or I will bring up, and it's the Loveless album.
Oh yeah.
I can't listen to it.
Really?
I find it so sad listening to it.
Really?
Yeah, it crushes me. It's the same with God Machine, these, and and nowadays I can't handle Nick Cave either. Like,
that's true. That's tough.
Yeah.
His last, and they're so fucking good as well.
Yeah,
so good. Like the Ghost Teen album.
I don't doubt it at all. I imagine it's amazing, but I can't.
Yeah, it's pretty special. But I never really got a sad thing from Loveless, but I suppose you're probably right.
Yeah,
I'm probably just being such a pedal geek. I'm trying to fucking work out what kind of buzz and amps he's using.
Yeah. But also, I don't like watching films with any peril for children or animals.
Yeah.
I've got to the point in my age where I'm like, okay, please, can I just have like a bit of Die Hard and
yeah, I do have to. I'm a big animal softie, and I have to kind of tell myself over and over again that whatever dog that gets shot in the horror film is probably swimming in the mansion in Los Angeles, in the pool of the mansion in Los Angeles.
Exactly. It's probably getting treated better than anyone you know.
Yes. Yeah, I always try and tell myself that. But yeah, it's tough. That is tough.
Yeah. So, seeing as you mentioned Ligament, has dug up a 7-inch, there's a Ligament 7-inch called SRD, that one's called. And,
is that from Twin John? Did John work at SRD?
I worked at SRD as well.
Yeah.
And so before I worked at Vital, I worked at SRD. So that song is called SRD. And I've never really known whether it's named after the distributor. But on the
I'm
toilet
sure
wall,
it is.
Yeah, on the toilet wall at SRD, someone had written at the top just SRD, and then underneath it there's thousands of what's the word? Is it acronyms? What is it?
Oh, really? Yeah.
So she's riddled with diseases and all this sort of stuff all the way down. But what I wanted to say was one of the best times I've seen Mogwai was upstairs at the garage at Ligament's last show.
Yeah.
Any memories of that gig in particular?
I remember it being a lot of fun. I think we just played one song. We just did the My Father, My King, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was just good fun. I kind of really, really love Ligament, and Park Chimp, obviously, and yeah, it's one of these bands that it blows my mind that they're not playing stadiums.
Same.
Yeah, and I think I've maybe even mentioned that to them. They just look at me as if I'm mental, and I'm like, you kind of look at like fucking Muse or whatever, and you're like, how can Muse be famous and Park Chimp aren't famous?
I know. I've said that many times to them. I just never understood why, I don't know, like Domino or something didn't tuck into them at some, you know, like, and really just push them. Like all the other crap they
Yeah.
put, like, it just makes no sense to me. But it was, yeah.
They're quite hard to push.
That's My Father, My King.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the one song you played. That one song.
Yes.
And it was like
30
or 40-minute version of it.
It was a long time. Yeah, it was a long time.
But it was marvelous, and it was and you were announced almost like on the day or the day before. There was no big deal about it. Like it was a Ligament gig, and then about the day or two before, and it was probably a text because it was whatever year it was rather than
pre-internet. Well, that would have been was that 2000?
Yeah, it's got to have been, yes, because I'll tell you why I know, because Elisa, my wife, was pregnant. And
right.
She was standing next to me outside the toilets upstairs at the garage, because there's a little corridor there where it's kind of a bit quieter. And yeah, she was pregnant with Stan, who's now almost 21.
Amazing. You know, you've actually made me nostalgic for upstairs at the garage, which is something that I don't think I ever thought was going to be possible.
Did you, other than that gig, did Eska play there when you were playing with them, or did you play with them up there at any other point?
The only gig I remember playing with, I remember doing 2 gigs with Eska in London. Once at the Splash Club.
Yeah. Okay.
And once at the Dublin Castle.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know about upstairs the garage. But Mogwai played there a few times.
Right.
I remember we played there one time, and the people that were putting on the gig were going to pay us 50 quid, and they only paid us 18 quid. And we were really, really, really worried that we weren't going to have enough petrol to get back to Scotland. and then they got really annoyed when someone else put on our next gig in London, because obviously probably by that point we'd had a couple of reviews in the Melody Maker or something, but we're like, of course we're not putting our fucking gigs on. You bumped us for 32 quid when we could hardly even get up the roads. But yeah, not like me to hold the ground.
Who was the promoter? Name and shame.
I can't even remember. I could go and make some phone calls and find out, but if they're reading this, if they're watching this, fuck you.
Oh no. I like it. Hit me with a bargain find.
Oh, you're gonna like this. You're gonna fucking like this.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah.
$10.
Good God.
The one thing about it, though, apparently, like, it's the record doesn't match the sleeve.
Okay.
But it's still an old edition. But if I could get the records that went with sleeve, it'd be worth £1,000 or something.
Fuck me. Yeah.
But yeah, it was $10.
Wow. Where was that? Where did you get that?
I don't remember exactly, but somewhere where people don't know what the fuck they're doing. So I'm guessing like Idaho or something.
No disrespect to Idaho, of course, or the people of Idaho.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, I don't know.
How long ago was it you got that?
Quite a while ago, yeah, probably early days of touring America with Mogwai, so late 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah, there's a big difference between, and repeat myself, there's a big difference between pre-Discogs and post-Discogs with bargain finds.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like
yeah, it's a weird balance, though, isn't it? Because you could literally get anything you want now, but you're not. No, that's not going to happen anymore. You're not going to find a peel off banana Velvet Underground and Nico for $10 anywhere. But
no.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, my guess is your only luck with that sort of thing is a car boot sale.
Yeah,
like you know, I don't know, family selling a dead person's stuff and not caring or whatever.
Yeah,
but even charity shops are on the case with this stuff now.
Yeah, yeah. One of the best record shops around here is actually the Oxfam music shop.
Yeah.
But that and even that it's cheaper, but it's not like dirt cheap. It's just cheaper.
Yeah.
And like secondhand records, like an expensive secondhand record used to be a tenner, and now the sky's the limit. I mean, you would never see a secondhand record for like 30 quid.
No.
And now that's pretty standard, it seems. It's definitely, that's actually, I get quite pissed off at how expensive records have got. I'm sure a lot of people share this, but I find myself being way more conservative about what I buy than I used to, you know, because you're not as likely to take a chance on something for 25 quid, you know, like I definitely used to.
It comes up a lot, the whole you know, so back in 1990 or 93 or whatever, when you're in your mid-teens, late teens, yeah, you're taking punts on records, or you'll see something like, or the guy behind the counter and go, oh, you're going to like Flip Your Wig by Husker Du, and you're like, oh, I don't know. But because it's 6 quid or whatever, you're like, okay, we'll give that a bash. Like, this I've still got the sticker on it. It's £5.79 that cost new.
Yeah. Yeah.
and like, you take a punt on it because you're just like, oh yeah, we'll give it a go. You know, yeah, exactly. It's different, and I don't think the money hasn't gone up like that, has it? Like a £5.79. Surely £5.79 in the early 90s or whenever this isn't now 25 or 30 quid. Surely.
No. It's a weird one. It's a weird one, and I guess it's maybe a balance because most people are listening to music for free. So when they commit to something, they feel okay with spending a lot of money on it because it's not stopping them hearing it. Most people are listening to music all the time on Spotify or YouTube or whatever. So yeah. I do wish records were cheaper. Yeah. I definitely do.
Yeah. Same here. and so does my wife. She actually supports me for the most part. Hit me with a record bought on tour.
Yeah, what's this? Oh yeah, this one. Fever Ray album.
Oh yeah.
Which I love. It's one of my favorite records ever, probably. It's really amazing, and yeah, it's got the Amoeba sticker on it. $20, which is now a cheap record. That's 15 quid or something. You know. So I mean, even in the 10 years since this has come out, records I think have almost doubled.
Yeah. So what's that record all about then? I'm not sure I know. I might know the name, but I don't know.
Oh right, okay, yeah. She's one of the Knife, the band The Knife.
Okay.
And yeah, it's kind of synth music, but quite a lot of the vocals are through a pitch shifter, so they're kind of like weirdly low. You've probably heard some of the songs that, like, there was a really good song on it used in Breaking Bad and stuff like that. It's a brilliant record. Yeah, it's self-titled. Yeah, an amazing record. Barry, our keyboard player's absolutely obsessed by it. You'll probably hear it and just be like, oh, that's where that fucking cunt nicked all his bits from. But yeah, it's really good. And Amoeba, I don't, for people that maybe don't know, there's two of them, one in San Francisco, one in Los Angeles, and they're massive. They're like the size of an Asda, and you literally don't know where to start. They've got like so many records, and they do a YouTube thing called "What's in My Bag," where you go in, and I went in totally hungover, and I thought I was getting a discount on everything I bought, so I went mental. Like I got piles of shit, and then they just gave me like a, and I'm not complaining about this, it's still really generous, but they gave me like a $30 gift certificate.
Really?
So I ended up like
Okay,
$500 or something.
That's interesting to me, because I religiously watch those things, especially when it was open. I'm not so worried about watching people at home do it, but when the shop's open, I just really like it. Like,
yeah,
and it's one of my ambitions is to eventually do one of those. I'd love to do a "What's in My Bag."
yeah.
In fact, I've never even been there, so I'd love to go there. But that is something I've never known. Whether they're like, yeah, just take a couple of records for free, it's fine, or whether you've got to stump up the moolah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it is a couple of records for free, but I thought it was a percentage. I thought like I'm going to give you 20% off or something, and it's not an expensive shop either. So you'll see something like, oh, I'll grab that. They've got really good books as well. The music book section's amazing, and the DVDs are amazing. It's just for people like us, it's a fun place. Yeah, fun place to go.
I would love to go there.
They've pretty much got every record like that is available, and they have a massive secondhand section as well. So 9 out of 10 times, unless a record's like some mad Discogs costs £1,000 record, you'll be able to find it there. Yeah. And they're really nice people who work there too. Yeah, it's good place.
Yeah. Man, like so you've obviously been like most places. Do you find that you get chances to go to record shops when on tour, or are you stadium to stadium, or however you go back?
No, we still play normal venues almost everywhere. So yeah, we're usually in town. I think when bands get to play in arenas and stuff, they're miles away, but we still play like normal places where are near record shops. So yeah, I go and look in record shops most days. It's kind of like, it's been a wee bit shit though. Like Europe's got really expensive,
right? With
the euro against the pound, and then the dollar's not great either. So it's not been quite as attractive as it used to be. When we first went, like a pound was $2. So like records were so cheap in America. Sadly, I had no money back then, so like I didn't really take advantage of this in a way that I would now. But
the 18 quid you got in London didn't stretch, no.
No. No, we should have invested the 18 quid. That would have made a big difference.
But what about like Japan? Like if you're in Japan, like the record shops, that fascinates me. The record shops in Japan.
Yeah, they're really good, and like they're very not pernickety, but very precious about them being in great condition. So like all the records will be perfect. I got I was actually looking for it when you asked for a record on tour, and I couldn't find it, but I got that, and it's since been reissued, so it's not even a big deal anymore. But the Richard D. James album, the Aphex Twin album, I got that on vinyl in Japan, and I'd been looking for it for years because I bought it on CD when I was into CDs, and because it was that terrible time in the 1990s where people kind of fell out of love with records. Well, I stupidly did, and I managed to find it, and I was so happy. And then, like, weeks later, it got reissued, but I was happy to have my original one.
There's a Warp did that. Like, I think people were banking on being able to sell their sort of. I dragged one out actually. I think people like Boards of Canada thing. I think people were banking on selling their old Warp records to finance a house or whatever, and then they got reissued virtually everything on the label.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a great one though, isn't it? That's got the little Braille sticker on it too, hasn't it?
Oh no, that's the scam. I think that's.
Or is that the scam one?
Or this is the music has right to children or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Which
I thought that had the Braille on it too. Maybe I've just completely
maybe
hallucinated that. No, I'm talking shit. You're right. That is the scam one that has the Braille. That's such a great record.
Yeah, this is brilliant, I think, and it's got that song ROYGBIV, like, and for years, like Roygbiv or whatever. So for years, I was like, what the hell's that word? I have no idea what that word is. And then it occurred to me that it's the rainbow. It was like,
oh, I'd never noticed that. I just thought it was Roygbiv.
Yeah, like Richard of York gave battle in vain, sort of red, orange, green. Yeah, I had an idiot eureka moment just out in the wild one day. I was like, whoa.
Really?
I see what they've done there. And I was thinking, I bet everyone else has known this for years.
I didn't know it. No, you've beat me to that information.
Just 25 years later, whenever the hell this record came out. But yeah. What about a record that people wouldn't think that you'd dig?
Oh yeah. Lana Del Rey. I really like Lana Del Rey.
Oh yeah.
Which is not that surprising. I mean, she's pretty popular, obviously, but yeah, it's my wife that got me into her music, and it's so good. Songs are amazing. They kind of remind me of like really good Lou Reed songs or something. Really kind of great lyrics. The music's really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I know. I don't really know her very well. Like maybe Radio 1 or something. I don't really. But there seems to be like a Taylor Swift, Lana Del Rey sort of resurgence amongst people where they're quite happy to go, yeah, I like that Taylor Swift folk album or whatever that came out. I don't know it, but I see people going, oh yeah, I like it. And it's kind of, I feel like they're.
I'm more suspicious of that.
Right. You're cynical.
No, I'm not suspicious of people liking it. I'm not convinced. And you know what? I'm saying this through complete ignorance because I've never heard it. Maybe it's amazing. I just kind of, that's more of a hard sell for me.
Right.
Whereas Lana Del Rey, she's always made music like that, you know? She's never like, I don't know. Taylor Swift, I kind of completely associate with children.
Okay.
Like children like it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with adults liking children's music in a kind of nudge, nudge, wink, wink kind of way, and like, oh, this is kind of fun. But when people who've made children-orientated music suddenly kind of try and be cat power,
right? Yeah.
I kind of I struggle with that, and maybe that says more about me than them. To be honest, I'm not kind of. No, I'm not.
I've not heard it either. I've just like, in my head, the two are kind of that last album that she did, the Taylor Swift, was like the folky one. It had like a black metal-y sort of sleeve.
Yeah.
Like where she's hanging out in a forest or whatever. She's just like corpse paint away from being dark throne.
Yeah. Oh, I've got I'm talking to Discogs. I've got a funny story along those lines. Like when the first lockdown happened, like I'd just been on holiday and just bought a new car, and I was like, shit, I'm fucking not. I kind of don't have a job anymore. This is really shit. And I was like, maybe I should, and I have too many records anyway, so I was like, maybe I should sell some records. Literally, the first record I pulled out was this Burzum record.
Oh, yeah.
And I sold it for a fortune. And like my mate Mark from Australia, we coined the phrase Nazi gold. So we're getting.
It's hard to not be conflicted with people like Burzum. Do you not think?
I mean, I don't think. In fact, I probably did know he was a scumbag when I bought it. But yeah, I certainly wasn't sad to let it go for a massive amount of money. Yeah, no, I'm not cool with having Nazis records. generally.
No, okay.
Generally.
Got
I think it's more the case though that when I bought it, I was pretty young and probably quite kind of immature and just thought, it's a jolly Jeep, and hadn't really realised what a seriously awful person he was.
So you were feeling a bit Indiana Jones when you sold it with like the Nazi gold sort of.
I was so happy. So happy.
Indiana Jones of Discogs. I wanted to quickly, if it's okay, I wouldn't mind talking about the what is it? Was it the director's cut ATP that you did?
Right. Okay.
Where you had a day, Tortoise had a day, Shellac had a day.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Or was it Slint? Did Slint play our day?
I've got it was ISIS.
All right, okay.
Converge.
Oh yeah.
Yours. Chimp, Clark Chimp played.
Yeah.
I actually, and they played as well. Todd.
Oh yeah, I like Todd.
Yeah. And I've dragged out an ISIS record just to remind myself to mention it. And that was the first.
There's a band whose merch store is probably going a bit quiet.
I know, right? What an absolute bummer of a name nowadays.
Yeah.
But Aaron's still doing really good things with other bands like Super.
Yeah.
Whatever else.
Yeah. Really great band. Really lovely people too. We played a lot of shows with them around back then, and yeah. I'm trying to remember who else played that ATP. Tortoise.
Cat Power.
We played Cat Power.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Really kind of miss ATP. You know,
Yeah, I was wondering what you thought about it, and like that was the first ATP I went to. I don't know if there was many before it or whatever.
Yeah, no, I miss it a lot. I'm still friends with Barry. I know there's a lot of people were pretty pissed off with Barry about the way it went down, but what I would say about that is that it was, yeah, he was trying his best and it just fucking fell apart. There was no level of scam, I think. Yeah. If he was a con artist, he's the worst con artist in the world. But yeah, it was great. He probably tried too hard, to be honest.
Do you think people fell out of love or whatever, or with the idea of it, or because it?
I think he went to the well too many times. I think there was too many of them, and the type of people that are into that, there weren't enough of them to go to more than one a year.
No.
So when he was doing however many there ended up being, like 4 a year, they weren't all selling out, and the margins of those things, if it's like 3/4 full, someone's losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Barry isn't a rich person, you know, so it just kind of got a bit paying Peter to pay Paul, and yeah, it just kind of came down like a pack of cards.
Yeah, well, that weekend in particular, the one that you were involved with, the Mogwai Shellac, whatever one.
Yeah,
brilliant. Like it really everyone I knew was there. It felt like the most social weekend.
Yeah,
just as a fan of music, it was a complete, absolute box ticker for me in terms of bands I saw. And I always say, but I saw Lungfish that weekend. It's the only time I saw that band, and I'll forever be grateful to ATP for that, because I never would have seen them otherwise, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not like they've reformed to do that gig. I think they were still going and stuff. You know, I know bands will get back together or whatever, but it wasn't that. It was just awesome to see them like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think with bands like that, they probably, like, a lot of bands get to a point where the people in the band can't afford to be full-time musicians anymore. So even if the band don't break up, they can't get together to play very often. And if the band aren't from your part of the world, then it's going to be hard to see them, you know. And something like ATP, like I bet Barry paid them a shitload of money, probably more than anyone else had, you know,
Right.
and he probably paid them. I don't know. I don't know the situation with that band, but I know with some bands he paid them too much, which kind of because he loved them, and it kind of it wasn't financially viable, you know, and yeah, the whole narrative that he like fucked off with everyone's money, it's just not true.
I don't mean. I don't mean.
No, I didn't say you were saying that, but like I have heard people say that, and it kind of it bums me out a bit.
Yeah, I'm not here to drag this sort of stuff out of you. I just wanted to say how good.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
And one of my another memory is that when ISIS played, I think the DB meter cut them out.
Oh, really?
I think in the room that they were in, and so they were quite as nice as guys as they were. They look really serious when they're playing, right? Because it's like serious post metal or whatever the hell you call it. Yeah. And I like it, so I just haven't got the term for it. But so they're like being all deadly serious and riffing and rocking, and then whoomp, lights go up like midway through a song, and they're just sort of left there like. It was very it was a very Butlins moment for him.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, but it was, you know, and the other thing is that like if you ran a tiny record label at the time, which we did, a different previous one, you could set a stall up on a Sunday at ATP.
Yeah.
And make quite a bit of cash.
Yeah.
You know, that the audience was there to sort of.
Yeah.
But it really, I think it really brought, certainly then it brought a lot of people together.
Yeah. It'd be good if it could come back. I don't know if Barry would be able to run it anymore, but it'd be good if something like that could happen again, because it's definitely missed. And it's also like, it's been away a long time now, and like there's a lot of people getting into music that were too young to go, who would love to go to something like that, and not necessarily just wheeling out all the same bands, but something like that, even with like a new generation of bands, you know. Yeah, it would be good to have something like that back.
No, I like it, and I like not being in a tent.
Yes, there's a lot to be said for that.
Let's hit me with a favourite 10-inch, and if you have any thoughts on the format.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, actually.
Okay.
The one I went for is this. Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Yeah.
It's like a legendary, kind of like one of the first proper electric rock and roll performers. And yeah, it's really nice. It's all kind of, I don't know what kind of printing that is, but like nice.
Yeah.
Looks hand printed. Yeah. I've actually got a painting of Rosetta Tharpe in my living room by Tim Kerr from the Big Boys. Yeah.
Cool.
My friend Sandy's really good friends with him, and we went to his house in Austin, and it's really cool. It's the same house he's had for years, and he's got like loads of memorabilia, and he's got like Glenn Danzig's gloves from when the Misfits played there and stuff. And yeah, he's the really sweetest guy. Really nice guy.
Yeah, I love the Big Boys. Brilliant band. Did you, out of interest, did you ever see when Glenn Danzig was selling his house? You could go on like the American equivalent of Rightmove to look at it.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. It was all black, wasn't it? Like in LA. Yeah, it was good. We actually saw them. We saw the Misfits play at this. Talking of ATP, this really great festival in Las Vegas called Psycho Fest, which is kind of like a metal ATP. Right. And we got there just in time to see the Misfits playing in front of like giant inflatable pumpkins and stuff, and it was cool. It was a lot of fun. It was really good, and yeah, it was such a funny festival. There was a stage, an outdoor stage in a swimming pool, and there was a black metal band playing with all these people in their swimming shorts and stuff, watching this band with a full-on paint. And
did Mogwai play it? Did Mogwai play it?
Yeah, we played. Yeah, Yeah, it's like 90% metal. They have like some other stuff. Like I think it's on this year, and like they've got like the Flaming Lips, and
Yeah.
I think Beach House played the year we played. Yeah,
Right.
so it's not all metal, but it's largely metal. It's one of the funnest festivals I've been to in a long time, actually.
Yeah. That's yeah. I love the big boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's a lot of that Rosetta footage on YouTube where it's just, you can tell it's just really exciting. Play. There's that one. She's at a train station or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one. The train station one is incredible. So good, so good.
And like, what year is she in action there? It's like 40s, is it?
I don't know. Maybe late 40s, early 50s. It's a long time ago. Yeah, long time ago.
I have one other question for you. I've probably got 100 questions, but one question I want to know is, did you play in America with someone from this band?
Yes. In fact, before we played with him, it's Mike Fellows that we know.
Mike Fellows, the bass player in Rites of Spring.
Yeah. He was my guitar tech for a few gigs, and he wasn't the fastest dude in the world. he's such a lovely person, really nice person, really funny. But yeah, he'd take a lot of time to bring me a guitar, but that's fine.
Because he was in Rites of Spring, he gets a pass.
He gets a total pass. But he had a musical project called The Mighty Flashlight with 2 eyes. Right. And yeah, those records are great. Really good. Really lost touch with them, actually, because I would always hang out with them when we'd play in New York. Him and all the people from like Gang Gang Dance and Matt Sweeney from Chavez, and a lot of cool kind of friendship group of a lot of those people. Scott from Girls Against Boys, who's friends with those people too. And Rites of Spring are good though. That's a fucking great record.
Yes, 100%.
Really, that's ferocious.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah.
I think maybe Tim was taking a bit of a hint from that on the artwork front. You reckon?
Yeah, probably.
They've kind of went for Tipex, though. Tim just went for Sharpie.
Let's see.
Yeah.
It's not actually. It's quite similar, isn't it, in its own way?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, I love Rites of Spring. I love all that stuff. So that was interesting to me. Do you have, when you travel from, say, like especially continent to continent, do you have a different team there? Like sound crew or whatever?
Not really. No, we tend to take the same people. Sometimes if you go really far, like, we'll maybe get someone else to do the lights in Australia or something. Right. But largely it's the same sound person and monitors and all that stuff. Hopefully they've not all...
Motorhead, you're very loyal to your road crew. Is that what you're saying?
We try our best. Yeah, we try our best. I mean, to be, that's unless they've all went and become carpenters or something in the lockdown. I don't know what they're all doing now. I'm hoping they're doing okay. I actually feel so bad for all the crew people because they've had nothing, you know. And I know that the way that a lot of them set up their companies have stopped them getting any government help as well. Yeah, it's been a real bummer. Yeah, a lot of people have really struggled.
Yeah. Well, have you got so do you have shows lined up? Do you have tour booked, or what's the vibe there?
We've got a handful. We've got a handful of gigs this year, and then next year, like a proper tour of sorts. Yeah. Not announced yet, but kind of working on the details just now to kind of get it all going.
Yeah. And when's the first date this year?
I think we're, in theory, playing a couple of gigs in July. One is a records shop gig in Kingston upon Thames that was to do with the album coming out. And also, Banquet. And then one in one in France, which seems a bit optimistic. I think things are a bit hairy in France, but it's still in the diary at the moment.
I'm just intrigued by when things are going to start going, and I sort of look at other bands and see when they've got things lined up and go, okay, yeah, that feels a bit soon, or that feels correct.
Yeah.
And then you've got, you know, the Brexit business as well, which is going to affect bands at a certain level, and maybe the big ones will be okay, but the little ones are going to have to like sneak in like you sneak into America or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, to be totally honest, I mean, that's what I would do. Yeah. No one's going to be, no one, I just don't see someone in Belgium going, oh, you've got a guitar, what are you doing here? Like, they're not, like, I think I'll be all right. I probably shouldn't be saying this publicly, but that is what I would do if I was in a band that couldn't afford £1,000 for a visa.
Yeah. I'm optimistic that the right people can find a way through whatever means necessary.
Yeah.
I think that the only main border seems to be France to England. There's no borders between any other country.
No.
You know, you just drive around, right?
Yeah.
You don't even know you've gone into a different country half the time. Like,
no,
no big announcement or anything. So anyhow, there you go. Thank you very much for talking.
You're welcome. It was a blast. I loved it.
I had hundreds of other things I wanted to talk about.
We can do it another time, sometime.
Yeah, but I'll leave you to get on with your evening, and because I don't want
Wicked.
Yeah, but thank you.
All right, man.
It's been awesome.
Great to talk. See you later. Bye.
Bye. See you later.